this year or for next year if we're trying to help them clean something, and we're just here to help make that, a reality for them, taking this possibility and taking their dream and making it where they're moving in and you're handing them the keys. And that's just an overwhelming feeling of, it's almost indescribable how you end up feeling when you hand somebody their keys for the very first time.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So without any further ado, tell us about what's going on and what you got for us today.
Okay, so we're going to talk about down payment assistance. And, I keep getting calls consistently. So we decided to go ahead and hold this. And some of the information you're going to be able to read, and we're really going to talk about quite a bit of it. But, a lot of people are calling me saying down payment assistance isn't available during this time. And that's not true. It is. It may be who you're talking to. They're not offering it. So down payment assistance is available. Georgia Dream is available. So we're going to go ahead and move forward and get to, the nitty gritty of this. So who's eligible? What are some resources? And then we're going to answer some questions. So I may move a little quicker in some of these slides because there's some pieces I really want to get to. The very next slide is the call I get is, what are the programs that they have? Okay, who's eligible? What are the programs? Well, there's basically, you're looking at standard, pen, choice, and hardest hit. So the one I want to stay on in this next slide that Luther's going to put up is, I really want to spend a minute here talking about this hardest hit. This is $15,000. Yes, I'm saying $15,000. Yeah, they have the standard at $5,000, the pen at $7,500, and the choice at $7,500. But they have the hardest hit HHF fund was $15,000. This is fully forgiven, as in your customer is never going to pay this back, this $15,000. And it is forgiven after 5 years if this is a primary residence for them. So they can't refi it, they can't sell it, they can't move out of it and make it investment property, or they owe the funds back. So those are the main restrictions for this $15,000. But this $15,000 can be used for, which is why people are able to get in for so little or almost nothing. You're going to use it for the down payment, and you're going to use it for closing costs. So when someone's buying a home for $200,000 or $250,000, this $15,000 is going to pretty much cover almost all of it. And it's an opportunity that the window is closing. So I'm going to have Luther scroll up here a little bit, and let's go ahead and put the whole slide up. So you can see that we've got the standard, the pen, and the choice, which we'll go in a little bit more detail here. But this hardest hit, I really want everybody to know. I keep getting calls saying, is it, that it's gone? It's not gone. It is going to be gone, but it is not gone. If you were going to market yourself, which Luther, I'm sure will tell you, you're going to market yourself with your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your friends, your family, anybody who's looking in these areas, you need to do so now because the window for the 15 is going to close. So what I want to cover is what type of properties, etc. What are the requirements for these? And so on the next slide, we're just going to bring up the whole slide, and I'm just going to kind of quickly touch on it because then I want to take some question and answers here.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Let's back up a little bit. All right, because I know my agents. I know agents. Let me ask some questions and let me make sure that we have a nice foundation, that we have a groundwork for the agents. So the first thing, this says second mortgage programs with DPA, right? Then we have Georgia Dream second mortgage, 0% deferred payment. We have standard 5,000, pen 7,500, and choice 7,500. So let's start with down payment assistance. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it is a down payment assistance for the buyer. Now, is this for residential homes? Is this for investment homes? Is it for commercial property? Let's start there. Let's also let's talk a little bit about the difference between standard, the pen, and the restrictions, and the choice and the restrictions, so that the agents and non-agents as well, so everybody have a good understanding of this DPA before, and then we'll talk about this hardest hit, a hit fund.
Okay, so you can follow me on slide 6 if you prefer, but I can also touch on it here as well. On slide 6, it does break it apart for you, but the standard is going to be for everybody in Georgia, okay, across the board. Penn is going to be for protectors, educators, nurses, people in that type of profession. So you're going to have to prove the profession in order to be able to use the 7,500 fund. The choice is going to be for people that are on disability, or they're supporting somebody, a dependent who's on disability. Now, the difference between if you see there, it says deferred payment of 0% versus the hardest hit of forgivable. So you will have to pay that back, meaning customer, excuse me, is going to have to pay those funds back when they sell the home or when the home is paid for in full. So this is not money that is forgiven. This is money they end up paying back at some point in time, but it still helps them get into the home. So it's definitely for somebody who cannot come up with the down payment. It is a good alternative source for something of that nature, where the hardest hit fund, it's going to be forgiven after the 5 years. Did that make sense, Luther?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and you asked another question, just so we know, and he's going to the requirements, which will answer some of his other questions. This is for first-time home buyers, okay? So you're not going to be using this for anybody who is looking for investment property. This is going to be their primary residence. They're not going to have owned a home in the last 3 years. We're going to be owner-occupied properties. Now, and it's houses. This is not 2 to 4 units. There's going to be, none of that going on. They are going to have to take some counseling, but the biggest piece that I always cover with them is the 1% of their money is going to have to come from them. So even if they're getting 15,000, they're still going to need 1%. So if they're buying a home for 250,000, they're still going to have to show they have $2,500 in order to close. So that's a big piece to this. Now it hasn't really been that much because a lot of people still have something saved, but maybe they don't have the full amount saved. So this program is definitely going to be for that first-time home buyer. No home in 3 years, not lifetime. So I always clarify that with somebody, asking them when the last time they've owned their home. And so the 3-year marker designates them as a first-time home buyer. So that kind of covers the rest of those questions I think that you were asking, Luther.
Okay, great.
Okay, so he's going to pull up those requirements, and I want to just have him go ahead and pull them all up, and then let's just see, is there any questions on what I've said so far? Anything that you want to cover that you would like answered here?
Let me see. Any questions? The chat line is wide open. The Q&A is wide open as well. Chat line is open. Q&A is wide open.
And then we're being very thorough, so we might not have as many questions this time around. We're being pretty thorough here. Now, I will say,
question here.
Yeah.
What type of credit score does a potential buyer need in working with Tamara, working with you with these programs?
Excellent question. That's a fantastic question. You're going to need a minimum of 640 on two of the bureaus. And if there's two borrowers, they both have to have the minimum of a 640. For this particular program, I really like to see 660, but 640 is the minimum needed. 660 will give them higher debt ratios, which we will cover in a few minutes. And so that would allow them the opportunity to be able to afford more home if we had the higher score. But 640 is going to be our minimum number there.
Okay, wonderful. The next question here, and I got questions coming.
Kind of what we expected though, right? See, and that's a great slide, perfect slide there. So it's showing you that the amount that we're going to be looking at is no more than $250,000. What the household income limit is going to be of $84,500. Most of you are going to be in the top tier category versus the bottom tier category. And then the credit scores of 660 is going to give you the higher debt ratios, but not as high as we go with FHA, right? So some of the customers I've been closing for you, we've been closing at 55% debt ratios, where you know, with this particular program, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be at the high tier of 43% or 36%. And that's something I do cover with each of the customers. And I would say the two main reasons people do not go this route is they want more home, and their debt ratios are prohibiting them from doing so, or they make too much money. Now, before you sit here and say, hey, I've got borrowers who make, you know, 120, 130,000, we can't do anything for them. They haven't been able to save any money, and we're not going to get to it probably today. So yes, I have 100% program for those borrowers. So just because they cannot save, you know, enough for the down payment doesn't mean they cannot close on a home at 100%, and still they're not VAs. There's just 100% program that we have for those higher income earner people. I mean, the cost of everything is so high. Maybe they've got 4 children or whatever their case is. We're not here to judge. They just need to have an opportunity to get into a home and can afford the payments. They're just having trouble coming up with $10,000 or $15,000 for their down payment. That particular program, later on we'll discuss it, is a great program for the higher income. So you can see there's no exceptions here going to be given to those credit scores. You can't say, well, it's at 639. Can we make an exception? No. 640, but I'm going to take a look at that credit. If I can see something on that credit that could be resolved in 2-3 days, I'm going to tell them exactly what to do to resolve it, to push them over the 640 number and get that new report hopefully within 7 days, so that they could still move forward under this program. We don't want to just say no. We want to give them a clear path of how could we say yes. And so we want to take a look at the overall picture of what could we do to raise that score and make a no into a yes. So I did want to stay here for a second and see if Luther had some questions based on this.
Yes, now I want to go back here because I have quite a few questions on this slide.
Okay, great.
The question that quite a few people have asked is, why is this called a second mortgage program?
Because it is an actual second lien against the title of the property. So like if somebody tries to refinance, there is a second lien sitting there for that $7,500, which will then force them to pay off that lien. They're not going to subordinate the lien, meaning go back into second again. So they're truly having a first and second. They just have no payments at all on the second until they're done closing out the first mortgage, selling it, or refinancing it. The only one where it's forgiven after 5 years is going to be the hardest hit fund, which ends in 30 some odd days here. This is your last opportunity. You really need to be marketing it hard because it's almost over. Don't lose this opportunity to actually make a difference for someone and allow them to own a home with almost no money. They're almost like a veteran, kind of.
Good, 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 good. Okay, so let me help everybody. So basically what Tamara is saying here is the down payment assistance that's being given to your buyer, it is a second mortgage, correct, Tamara?
It is a second mortgage, correct?
It is a second mortgage. So think of it but like this, you guys. If it's forgiven, that means, hey, I never have to pay back this down payment money. If it's not forgiven, but that means that I have to pay back the down payment money, correct? Correct, Tamara?
You will pay back this money for the standard pen and choice, but you will not pay it back for the HHF 15,000. As you can see, one says deferred, one says forgiven.
Gotcha. So deferred is saying, hey, you'll pay it back at some point, right?
That's correct. Either when you refinance it
Never
or when
pay
you sell it.
Huh?
When you refinance it or when you sell it, correct.
Gotcha. So with standard, I'm getting 5,000. With pen, I'm getting 7,500. With choice, I'm getting 7,500. This money is mine. It's down payment money. I do not have to pay this back until I sell the property or I refinance the property, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, we're in there. Now, hardest hit fund says, hey, listen, you're getting 15 grand and it's forgivable, meaning I do not have to pay this back. Even when I sell it, even when I refinance it, I still don't have to pay this 15 grand back. Correct?
Correct. Correct. That is, as long as you stay there 5 years as your primary residence, then yes, that will be fully forgiven.
Okay, very good point. So if I move before the 5 years, it's not fully forgiven, but as long as I stay there 5 years, primary resident only, not investment property, not second home, not vacation home, none of that good stuff, right?
Correct.
Primary residence only, 5 years, then it's forgiven.
Correct. So, I mean, this is a great opportunity with, like Luther and I were talking, with a window that is closing on you. June 30th is the drop dead date. This is not being extended.
So agents, okay. So agents, we need to advertise. We need to market. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all social media, your email marketing, your text message marketing. Everybody need to right now as an agent say, hey, listen, there's down payment assistance programs that's still out there, right? It is out. Contact me today for more information. They contact you, you then forward them to Tamara. Okay? No, I am not a mortgage expert. Agents, we do not want to get into Georgia Dream, hardest hit fund, second mortgage. We do not want to get into that. And I know you guys are blowing me up with questions. Look, I get it. I'm there with you, 100% agents. But this is what I want you to take out of this webinar today, which is simply this. The opportunity is there. You should start right now, today, telling everybody, all of your followers, everybody under your sphere of influence, contact me today. There's down payment assistance that's available. They contact you, you forward them to Tamara. Tamara then takes care of the client. And look, you guys, I have been in this business for 28 plus years. And this is one thing that I've learned. Mortgage programs come and mortgage program goes. You never know when they're coming back. You never know if they're coming back But I always see a huge cycle, right? Here's the most important thing for you to do to maximize your situation right now is to simply say, hey, look, um, contact me. When your client contacts you, there's a gang of opportunities for you. Everybody might not qualify for the down payment assistance. That might not, maybe that's not the best program for them. Maybe they already have cash. Maybe they already have a down payment. But when your phone rings, it allows you the opportunity to now do business and to help someone else. Okay. Let me see questions.
Well, and you're absolutely right, Luther. I mean, it's a great opportunity where you're putting it out there and it's starting a conversation. People are going to call you because you're talking about $15,000, and maybe it's not right for them, but it gave you that opportunity to have a discussion with a potential customer for you, and it's a way for you to increase your business. It's a tool.
Absolutely. I have some questions on, please explain the 1% contribution.
Okay, so that's a great question. So that means that their funds that they have 1% in their amount. So they're buying a home for $200,000. They have $2,000 that they're going to have of their own money. $150,000, $1,500. They're going to need to show and close with that amount of money as their own money. So even if, and the sellers can pay up to 6% in closing costs, but when it comes down to it, they will have put into the deal, skin in the game, 1%, whether that's they're paying for their class with it as part of it, they're doing an inspection with part of it, the appraisal, etc. But their skin in the game is going to be 1%.
Gotcha. Okay, very, very important. And here's some questions that I've been having is the $15,000 down payment assistance, right? Is that just for down payment, or, you know, can it pay for inspections? Can it pay for appraisals? Can it pay for closing costs? Can it pay for other fees? Somebody even said, can it go towards my real estate commission? So the 15 grand, right?
It's going to be for the down payment and closing costs that are on your HUD or your loan estimate.
Okay, very, very good. Somebody ask a question. Is this open for all Georgia residents? And is this open for out of state residents?
Okay, so the 100% program that we're not getting to today that I can do for you is for every single state, any county. Yes, I can do 100% even if they're a high income earner and make $150,000 a year. This Georgia Dream program is only for the state of Georgia. And if we go back to the income limits and debt ratio, it's also the 15,000 is limited for is going to be limited for DeKalb, Douglas, Fulton, and DeKalb, Douglas, Fulton. I'm having a moment here. Everybody has one. Hold on just a second. I'm so sorry. It's me, Clayton. So the 15,000 is for Fulton, Clayton, DeKalb, and Douglas, where the choice, the pen, the standard, that's for anywhere in the state of Georgia. Okay, you're gonna be able to use that anywhere. But the 15,000 that expires, I'm gonna repeat it one more time, expires June 30th, is only for those 4 counties, and then there's some counties down south. If you are an agent down south, we've got Muskogee, Chatham, and Bibb in addition.
Good. Questions. Question. This is a good question too. Okay, so this particular fund ends June 30th. Does that mean closed by June 30th? Does that mean under contract by June 30th? Explain the June 30th date.
That's a fantastic question. So the June 30th is it must be registered with Georgia Dream. Okay. That means you are under contract and I have time to get you registered. So I'm going to take a quick peek at a calendar here and see where we're falling on that particular date. But you don't want to really go right up against the last date. That's not something you're going to want to do here. You're going to want to leave yourself, a little bit of a window. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough time to get this done. And so I would say I wouldn't go much past you placing a contract on a home no later than the 26th or 27th. That would be my recommendation for you.
Good, 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 good. Okay. Questions here. Well, I want to go over this particular slide so that we break this thing down. First-time home buyers, because folks are saying, okay, here's a question. If I own 2 or 3 rental properties, but I buy a owner-occupied house as a first-time home buyer, can I still purchase the property as my primary residence if I have other properties in my name?
No.
Okay.
Going just straight to a no.
So here's the deal. Let's go back to this slide here, guys, because I've had some questions about this slide. First-time home buyers defined as someone who has not had ownership interest in a primary residence for the last 3 years. Okay? So it's very important that it says have not had ownership interest, because Tamara, I think I know the answer because I had a client that went through this, but let's say, right, my parents put my name on the deed, and so I am quote unquote owner, or I have ownership in this property because my name is on the deed, and this happened within the past 3 years.
I think it happened. What did it happen like a couple of weeks ago, right?
Right. Look, tomorrow we did it, right?
Tell us. Yeah, didn't tell us he had the deed, and then now we're sitting here trying to figure it all out. And I don't think, these borrowers aren't necessarily trying to commit fraud of any kind, but you guys have to understand the fraud detection systems that are in place today are not what they were in 2007 and 8. If your name's on a deed somewhere, I'm going to find it. Absolutely going to find it. So you checking no, you haven't had ownership in a home on your application, I'm going to end up finding that you did if you had one. So we're going to locate it, and then you're going to have some explaining to them.
And that's why I wanted to come back to this slide, because I've had some questions. And here's the deal, okay? You have no ownership, meaning you're not on the title for no property for 3 years. Rental property, investment property, mama's home, daddy home, rental home, whatever, 3 years. Okay. Now, somebody else was asking about, what about when what if my lease expires in August? What if I'm renting? Do I qualify? One agent said, I have a client that is renting. Do they qualify? Listen, it doesn't matter about renting and what you're renting and when your lease expires and if your lease expires. That have nothing to do with this. Tamara really isn't going to get into that. The problem is if you have ownership to real estate. So if you're renting, or if you have a client that's renting, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If the lease expires in August or July or whatever, Tamara's not extremely worried about that as far as the 3 years, because that's a rental, not ownership. You are renting, not ownership. So when it says have not had ownership interest, that's what we're talking about, not rentals. Duplexes, quadruplexes, second home, investment properties, none of that stuff qualifies. Okay, now tell us a little bit about the counseling, because I had some questions about the counseling. On the counseling, Is it a fee? How long does it take? Do I have to do the counseling before I qualify for the 7,500, for the 15,000, for any of it, all of it, none of it? What's the deal with the counseling?
So you do have to take counseling. They've made it really easy. You can take it online now. You don't even have to go to a class to take it. So once I approve somebody and tell them they're good to go shopping, I do send them out an email with instructions. This is what you need to do. Here's a couple that you can contact, and you can get this set up where you can take this class. Typically, I hear $50, $70, $75 to take this class online, and they'll get a certificate. Okay, and that can be used towards the 1% before I get that question. So once we get that back, then we put it in the file and they've met that. I do always tell people, take it in advance, take it now. That way you're not scrambling and trying to get it at a last minute, because you're not going to be able to get a clear to close without having that document. So it is just best to do it up front. I'm all about handling things up front.
And I've already got some questions, so let me clarify this, because Tamara really didn't mean that the way y'all are taking it, because y'all are blowing me up with this question. Let me help y'all. Here's the process. Step one, agent. You say, contact me. I have down payment assistance and program. Client contacts you. When client contacts you, you send them to Tamara. What Tamara is meaning is, when she qualifies the person for this particular program, and when Tamara says, hey, you are qualified, she's then saying, now you're qualified, here's the information, go take it online. She's meaning, go now and start online. Some of you guys was, saying, hey, send me the link, send me the information so I can get started, because Tamara said, start the training now. Okay, no. We're not going to send out the link, and we're not going to start this online process, because you don't want to pay this $50 or this $75 until after your client is approved. So once client is approved, right, then Tamara says, here's the link. Then client pays the $50 or $75 or $100 or whatever it is. We want them to get started on that counseling now, so it will not become a problem later in the process. What we don't want to do is to start paying money and doing stuff online for our clients, and they aren't even approved for this specific program. So look, I'm in the middle here. I know what Tamara's saying, but that's not what she meant.
Don't do that. Let's make sure they can buy a home before they spend $1, or you put them in your car or meet them to show them a house. Let's actually make sure they can buy a home before any time has been spent.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Okay. We've already covered that as well. Liquid assets cannot exceed $20,000 or 20% of the sales price, whichever is greater. Please elaborate on that just a little bit for us.
Okay, so sometimes I'll get a call and somebody will have $100,000 in their bank account. This is not for those people. I know they want to save $15,000 because that's how they came up with the $100,000 to begin with, is their savers. But this program is for people who cannot come up with the down payment. And I'm not going to get into interest rates, but somebody who has the money for the down payment should put it down, because our interest rates are below 3%. I locked somebody yesterday at 2.75, where the Georgia Dream is at 3.875. Okay, so if they can come up with the down payment, then I cover that with them before they go this route of trying to get a Georgia Dream loan, because they're going to ultimately save more money over time. This program is for somebody who cannot come up with the down payment, but they can make the monthly payment. Then it's great for us to give them the opportunity to own their home, not have liquid assets of $100,000 and try to get into this program.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Another excellent question here. If I'm a real estate agent purchasing a property for myself, and I am a truly a first-time home buyer buying my own personal property, can I qualify for this, even though I have a real estate license?
Of course, a realtor is not discriminated on this. So you would either be in one of the four counties using the HHF 15,000 that disappears in 30 days, or you would be going to be going with the standard of 5,000. Now, if depending upon purchase price, I may put you in the 100% program instead, because if you're going with the much higher purchase price, then I want to maximize how much money you are receiving.
Very good, very good. Listen, and that last bullet there says, "Hey, your borrower cannot have had a felony, larceny, theft, fraud, forgery, money laundering, tax evasion within the last 10 years." Listen, y'all can read, y'all understand felony, y'all understand the rest, y'all understand jail, y'all understand trouble. So we ain't gonna go there. We're not gonna ask questions to Tamara that. It is what it is. You will not qualify. Your borrower cannot qualify if they've been convicted in the last 10 years. Now, let me say this though. Listen, here's what we want to do as agents. We advertise. Contact us. They contact us. We send them to Tamara. Let's say that you have a felony, and it's been the last 10 years. You may not qualify for this, but like I said, Tamara will have something for you. She will be able to qualify that person for another program. So there's hundreds and hundreds of different programs out there that Tamara have. So what I don't want you guys to as agents is we do not play mortgage professional. Here's all that we do. Hey, there's down payment assistance money out there, contact me. Client contacts you, your goal, make that phone ring. When the phone rings, you take the client, you send it to Tamara. Tamara will make it do what it do. She will say, hey, you qualify for this, you qualify for that. Then it goes back, the client, it goes back to you, and now you're out getting folk under contract. Okay? Listen, Tamara, once again, hey, listen, you guys, I am probably going to have a phase 2 of this one. I thought I probably would because I knew this is hot, this is good, everybody's loving it. I'm loving it, and I knew that we wouldn't get too far. But listen, you have a partner now, Miss Tamara Burch. Write down this number, 770-896-5001, 770-896-5001. That's her cell phone number. Her website, tamaraburch.com. So if you forget everything, just remember tamaraburch.com. Listen, we got a lot of folk on the line today, platinum agents, non-agents. Look, you have a partner, you have a friend. I highly recommend that we partner with her and that we make this thing happen. As always, Tamara, great job. Appreciate your time. I know we did not get through all of the information, and at the time I ran out. So I am sure that we're going to have a part two phase 2. Okay.
That sounds great, Luther. I appreciate your time and everyone's time today, and know that you can call or text me. We'll get your questions answered. If they don't fit in Georgia Dream, like I said, we have a 100% program. Maybe they'll fit in that program. You know, it's more just finding out what they need and you marketing some of this stuff so that you can begin to have conversations with these individuals.
Absolutely. Thanks a million. Hey, you guys, last but not least, I am here for you. Personal phone number 404-513-5677, and my email address luther@platinumrealestate.com. Real estate agents, if you joined us late, we have career opportunities for you. Please contact us if you are a licensed real estate agent. We have the one-on-one coaching program. We have the 100% program. You can call or text us today, 404-994-4600. and our email address, careers@platinumrealestate.com. So email address, careers@platinumrealestate.com. Call or text 404-994-4600. We have an excellent 100% a program as well as a coaching program as well. If you are a licensed agent or you're thinking about going to real estate school, contact us today. We would be more than happy to take care of you and to help you. All right. So you guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for joining us today. As they used to say back when I was, a young boy, we do this every week, same bat time, same bat station. I used to love Batman, y'all. So we used to always say, same bat time, same bat station. Y'all are too young, so y'all don't know anything about that. But anyway, we'll be here doing this again, but next week. But we do it every week. Please go to my website, lutherragsdale.com for more information. Would love to see you at our next event. All right. You guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Visit my website, lutherragsdale.com, as well as platinumrealestate.com. And one more thing, if I could ask one more thing for everybody. If you learned something today, if you learned anything today, please, ma'am, please, sir, please Google Luther Ragsdale, and I would love to have a 5-star review. So if you've learned anything today, please Google Luther Ragsdale, and I would love to have a 5-star review. That would mean the world to me. Okay? You guys, thank you very much. And if you need me, always feel free to reach out. Thank you, and may God bless you.